All right, mate. Let's have a look here before I go to bed. Bitcoin's still down 1.34% at this point. Ethereum, what's Ethereum? Ethereum's up 0.5%. So I'll start off BCH here. It is, very, very importantly, and the reason that these are getting a lot of upside is because they've had bullish 6-month stop hunts, right? When you get a bullish 6-month stop hunt, you never want to mess with them. They're extremely powerful and way more powerful than people would imagine. Now, so 70% bounce, which is, that's not bad. But if we go to a daily chart and you can see exactly what happened down here on the lows, it was absolutely beautiful, perfectly touched down into the stop hunt area and pushed up from that. So these are forming very, very interesting, I'm going to say potential bottoming patterns. If you remember Phil formed something similar to this, and Phil mooned, and it mooned right up and pierced above here, and it did come back down or whatever, but let's actually get that Phil chart up. Yeah, okay, so it is almost 4 a.m., so my memory did not serve me very well. They did pump very similar, but you can see the pump here and the pump on Phil. But both charts, this is almost identical. This is almost identical. The base was almost identical. The base here was almost identical. The one on the right, the one on the left, sorry, is Bcash, Btrash, whatever people want to call it. But it looks fine here. This looks pretty good, and this looks to me like it wants to recapture the white 100. If we recapture that white 100, this price is going to start targeting this red 200. So there is potentially decent amount of upside in this. Now, Phil as well. I want to be buying more Phil. Again, this kind of rejected off there. So. Not quite the best fractal, to be honest, but very similar patterns overall. But the move up here was not the same as Phil. But anyway, ETC really surprised me today. This looks like it really does look like it's going to try and get up over that white 100. The thing is, a lot of times when you get a breakdown like this, a monstrous breakdown, so some sort of small bounce here is very, very normal. But what I will say is it's also very normal to form a small doji candle, and close like this, meaning in the next 25 days there's probably not going to be too much movement. We are probably going to form a small doji candle. But the next the next 3-month candle after the doji candle, that is a candle that then can get big upside. That is a possibility. So for me, I'm, it's not that I'm preparing for a small doji, but I think it's highly likely that we are going to form a small doji, implying upside is limited. You can see here on Dash, there is 6 days left in this 9-week candle. This is a 9-week candle. You have to imagine that this is going to form some sort of small doji here, and then a new 9-week, there is more possibility of some sort of upside. Until then, I don't think there's going to be much movement over the next week. Let's look at the weekly just to see. You can just kind of see we are chopping about here. It's very likely, this has also had a bearish weekly stop hunt, right? So price is now technically bearish below this line, below 48.3. Dash is bearish at this point, so it really does look like we're going to chop about here, and then it's probably better to trade a new 9-week candle. It is slightly green here, but until you get above that green line, there is definitely resistance at that point. If you want to go a bit wider on that, you can see that there's a bearish stop hunt right there, and we also have a bullish stop hunt right there. So you can see now prices moving up into the center point of the range, and prices usually, you don't normally want to be buying in the center of the range, right in here. That's normally a place where you will get chopped up if you buy here. what you want to do is usually you want to wait until you get sort of dips back down to the bottom of the range, and then you can target the middle of the range and then the top of the range. But in here is a place where you will likely get chopped up. And price at this point is basically trading. It's not dead center of the range, but you know it's not too far off the center point. Again, I think we should wait for a new 9-week candle in 6 days' time. This weekly candle is now a bearish rejection here. If it flips green again and takes out that line, well, you know, maybe there's a chance of more upside. I made a post last week saying that the bottom was in on Ethereum, on ETC, sorry. You know, the large base, the big break up, the pullback, the dip back down into the white 100 moving average, the deviation below the lows here. What time frame was I looking at there? Well, drop back into the red 200 moving average on a weekly chart. You know, that can often hold and cause some decent bounces. So like the move today surprised me. Don't get me wrong. A bounce on ETC of 13% is always surprising, even though we've had a few of them in the recent times. We've had a few big moves on Ethereum. Now, I've seen Loma trying to short this today. For me personally, I do not like shorting that strength. I would rather see a bearish stop hunt on a new day or something like that, or some sort of rejection like this. But there's always the worry that you can get a second green day up in a row here. You know, Loma trying to short that. There is the potential, and you have to be open to that there's going to be a second green day to the upside. Right, I would not rule that out whatsoever. For me, it's a risky short, at least until a new day. LTC here is showing some very good strength. Now, the caveat to the strength is, you know, it's rejected from there in the past, rejected here in the past, and we are back in here. So the thing is, this is now the second time we have got up here in a very short space of time. Quite often, when you get above the second time, it can be more successful, and these can be called second entries. And there's many different ways of trading a second entry. It could be a second entry off a trend line. It could be a second entry off a moving average. It could be a second entry, like for example, to say that's your daily open, and this is a 10-minute chart. You could get above here, or get above the open, and you drop back down. And that is your second entry. You look to get long on the cross of it there, and you know this is your long point. That's a second entry. There's many different ways to trade a second entry, but a lot of times the first entries can fail. Now this is, suppose you could also call this an attempt at a second entry on this on Litecoin chart. You can see that the you know. Look at the chop here, and look at the chop here. Very similar, not identical, of course, but like you could say there is similarities to there, to here, to here. You know, look at this one especially. There's a lot of similarities to the pattern here and to here, kind of, you know, implying if you actually look at this, when Litecoin took out the highs of this previous high, when we took out that high, it ran. We are on the cusp of Litecoin taking out these highs. Any move up at all here, and Litecoin will start to take out that highs, and this is a U shape. I didn't mean to move that. There. See this U shape here it's forming? Well, look at the U shape it formed right here. This was more prominent, but it is a U shape nonetheless. Now look at this U shape. You form this U shape. What happens when you take out the highs of the previous U, or the previous wall resistance area? Right. Once you take out the highs of there, well, you can see clear as day what happens. You know, price moons above this price. Now we are doing something miniature here. There's a bit of a U shape coming into this. If we take out these highs, LTC could run. Right. It really could. In a bear market, you often form lower highs. You can see there's a U shape here. What happens? You don't take out the highs, and it rolls away. It fades away. There's probably like Well, here's a U shape here, kind of, but it's very weak. It doesn't take out the highs and it rolls away again. That's just it's a very bearish example. But there's a U shape right here as well. It does not take out the highs, and price dumps back down. So we are getting very, very close to it's a very miniature U, but it's definitely something to watch out for. These U shapes can be very, very powerful. Okay. If Litecoin flips green on the week, there is the possibility you can take a long with a stop below the weekly low. It's green on the 2 week. It's exactly what you want to see. And in the next period, a dip down into here. Actually, I might buy this myself. But a dip down into this area, either this week or next week, can be an excellent buying opportunity.